Josh Novak today talking about some more of our cities or more of the deep floods we talked about, some different options we have of attacking down the field, and kind of when do we want to call these? Like what coverage are they good in? When are they bad and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm gonna go over three main ones. Okay, first one being Dallas. I think double post or double over, however you want to look at it. It's kind of the same thing. So number one, right on a score route, because I'm trying to optimize this first man. We'll go through this in more detail as we go. You keep the post on if you want. All the rules could remain the same. But I like the score route or the storm route, however you want to look at it, by number one. Talked about that a lot in the past. And the over route by number two. I like the over instead of the double post. Okay, like a true post. I talked about this in the past as well. I think the over route is easier, right, in quarters to read the safety going this way versus how fast he's retreating that way. And this also helps you in man a lot more. Okay, and the backside rules remain the same, right? So we'll go in more depth over all these tags. I just want to give you a very general overview, and then we'll go into all the film of all these. Next one being post rail. I actually love this one a ton. Okay, I love this verse 2 and 3. Let me go back real quick. So I like this versus 1 and quarters, obviously. The post rail, I like to drain the flat defender. So I like this verse 2 and 3. Whoever that flat defender is, will end up draining him. Make the coverage push, right? And then we'll have the over and then the flat components, however we build that. And the final one being however you want to do with number one. Okay, you run them a stop or a hitch, a stop, something to hold the corner down here. But something short by one and a score route or a storm by two. Okay, this is to highlight a good slot receiver. So we like this versus one with inside leverage. We don't like it versus one rat, but one inside leverage, or also like old school quarters. So I can get a 10-yard head start on this safety. Okay, make a two-way go and just play off that guy, right? Especially if you're an RPO team like we were, you show the glance and go. If they end up covering it really nicely, then you have the same over flood concepts we've talked about a million times in the past. So that's a really quick overview of the three. There'll be a lot more detail as we go, right? The whole goal of everything I built to this point is for me as a coordinator to come out and just call city right as the play call, right? City right, and then based off what the defense is showing me, I'm attacking that coverage with one of the 4 or 5 flood tags we're carrying, right, for that week or that year even. Right. So I know if I'm playing this team, right, and they're playing cover one, I want to call this. If they're playing two, da da da. Now obviously the team's allowed to change. Okay, but I like this sort of tagging system better than double calls. It's easier. These 9 guys remain the same, right? Nothing will change with these 9 guys in the core and the X. They're running their city right rules. I'm just attacking the actual coverage shown pre-snap with these 2 guys. Right, so the first one, a little bit more detail. Okay, so Dallas, doubles as well as thinking, right? Double post, double overs, however you want to look at it, right? Number one on the score, like I talked about, that's our first look. We're always top down. This is not in it. I know people run a pylon and he's activated. I know people run, like a double post and he's activated. This to me is we're basically forming in man free a deep mesh. Easier said than done, okay? Because like mesh is a little bit easier because this thing's happening at 5 yards. Asking these guys to run their over routes and mesh at 15 sounds great in theory. There's a couple good clips of it happening, right? It's really hard to do. So I like it in one if I really want to highlight this guy. Okay, this is my matchup this week. I like this route. I want him to win. Okay, if he doesn't win, then I have something coming right into that area, right into that vision point for me as a quarterback, right? I talked about this a little bit in the past. Progressions are tough. As you go further down the progression, right, past like the third look, yards per play starts going way down. Even more so when that third look is on the opposite side of the field, right? So as many things I could bring into the quarterback's vision, I want to. If you're getting off zone, we still like it if this guy's going to play tight enough, right? If he's playing cover 3 and he's bailing, not so good. This situation's okay. It's just taking a while, right? So I'm really calling this to highlight this aspect. Okay, if we get the pick and man free to the overcoming to it, all the better. So one and obviously quarters we like, right? Because we're going to drain the safety out and hopefully we have good leverage here. Tight split, you can tight split them and we're taking our quarters shot, okay? But that's pretty obvious. So I'm going to go through all these, right? So this is kind of be a longer presentation. There's a couple different ones to show, a couple different tags off of it. We're running the overs, obviously very different. We're running more like the shallow stings at UNC. But this is the idea, okay? This is the first play of the game. This is our best receiver on the outside. This is the weakest corner. We like our one-on-one matchup. This is a storm route, a score route, whatever you want to call it. Okay, ends up just giving one stab and we're taking it, right? So the ball obviously should be come out way sooner. Hate this full slide protection for this reason. Hate depending on the back to create the flood, but that's the idea. Okay, nothing like putting your tight end one-on-one versus their best pass rusher. Not what you want, but this is we're looking down the field, okay? And now we're running the shallow sting so we don't get the true over mesh we want. But you see we're trying to take our one-on-one shot. If that's not there, we're coming to the over right to it. Same thing here, okay? They're doing the dish, what I've talked about, right? The dig transitions to a shallow to create the 5 to a side type flood. Okay, now they're running it a little bit different, right? They're running more like a pylon, so this thing is probably activated in cover 1 to me. I don't want the quarterback to look here and then second look here. I want this to be my primary in cover 1, and then if not, then we're putting everything right back into his face that way. Right? Who am I to question it? But just trying to make it as easy as possible for the quarterback. He can keep his eyes to one side and not have to scan to the opposite side of the field. Ball should be out way faster, right? We have all kinds of pressure in the backfield. We have 5 to a side. Right, so the ball should be hit right on like a college hash, which is about right there. We're a little bit late here. Also, hardened man to build our depth. But if we were trying to truly pick this thing, we wanted to get a little more depth and come right off his backside hip. Easier said than done. So this is double over, double post in the cover 2. This is a one I want to call, what I'm calling Raleigh, right? Which is post rail. Why? Covering 2 and cover 3, this route does not help me at all. It crowds it, it makes it worse. However, if I were to rail this guy, post to drain out in the middle, I've talked about that in my last video. You drain out the flat defender, he'll probably run with you, which is fine. Okay, but if not, we'll take our rail shot. If he wants to leave, stay flat-footed, we'll take our rail shot. We're trying to drain this guy, and now this over situation becomes much easier with just one defender over here instead of 2. You see a nice addition, too, if you're playing a lot of tight coverage teams. Instead of just wasting this guy, the tight end, having him run a corner, like a pick corner, to try to pick for the over route coming. These guys are running the over a lot different, right? They're running more of like to get to the opposite side out of bounds, right? So it's a little bit shallow, but good idea of why we want to rail and cover 2, right? So if this was city left, they're showing me pre-snap cover 2, and when they do, they play cover 2 75% of the time. I'm calling Raleigh left as a coordinator, or as a, if you have a really smart quarterback, he can do it. So now we're in the optimum play call, attacking the coverage. Same thing here. Now, this is interesting. If you're getting a Tampa team, and this is more of a question than anything, if you're getting a Tampa team and you're able not to get compressed down to the damn NFL hash by the corner, right? You can now drain, if you want to run this, you can. If they're going to push through, you can drain the mic out and have a huge hole back here against 2 Tampa, right? So that's something to look at. If they are a Tampa team, they're going to run with a slot, and you don't have to rail it, right? We can keep the overs on. We'll drain him out. Have a normal split. Have a normal split. Drain the safety out. Right now we have a huge window to hit the over coming back over underneath it. Better if we can post it, if we can rail it, right? And they will relate, the Mike back will now relate to the new number 2. That's even better. So he'll run with a post. We'll drain the flat defender, and now there's truly nothing left. We can high-low the last piece over here. So that comes in like the fun game playing parts of how they play rules, right? If I rail 2 right away, does he go now cut number 1? If he does, even better. Now we're draining them all out, and we would have nothing left. He'd be gone, he'd be gone, he would be gone, and we would just have this guy to high-low. Right, so the fun part of game playing is how they actually play the rules and how it would play out in different types of flood concepts. So here's one against cover 3. Now it's from like a stack alignment, so you're getting a true zone, so it doesn't really help you either way here. But you see this backside, over, pylon, whatever you call it, is doing nothing to affect the play. Now, this is terrible coverage, so it helps us. Right, everybody's open. But just a look, in cover 3, I'll show you a good one from us at UNC. The over route is not helping the play at all in 3. Potentially helps in 2 if they're Tampa dropping it. Terrible in 2 if they are just going to spot drop it. Right, so I've talked about all these individual pieces, so I'm not going to talk about like the overs and all that kind of stuff. See here, right, cover three, we end up running right into people. If we were to rail the slot instead of running this over out to nothing, he would be gone, and now we'd be having a high-low hitting this thing on the run for a 50-yard gain. Instead, we leave this guy backside, and now there's two. They create good layers, and we're dumping it for 5. Or more than that, 10, whatever it is. Thank you, Duke. All right, so just to look at when we'd want to rail it. Want to rail it in 2 and 3 for sure. Shallow sting. I actually looked at this like really hard because this is how we ran it. It just takes so long. It ends up being hit a lot of times in the same spot. Um, we hit a couple. It just takes, I mean, it takes a freaking day and a half to get to the landmark. In a perfect world, it is better because now you're hitting it down the field. It ends up being kind of like a leakish type thing where you're hitting the ball much more vertically. It just takes so long. Not what you want to do. Same thing here, right? True 3, he's coming back. This guy doesn't help the play at all. Now Fred Warner drops to 15 yards, which makes this tough. The ball should be going underneath. We have the protection going the wrong way. We have a tight end leaking out, not helping us at all over here. Right? So now the hook defender has nothing underneath him. He can keep lifting and making this throw much harder. We should have, if we're game playing properly, something there and something there. Right? Just looking at cover 3 of this guy just wasting himself and not helping the play at all. And then also the protection not helping us at all either. Getting the leaker out late to the wrong side. Hook curl guy's dropping to 15 yards. There's nothing underneath him. Now the ball should probably be going underneath. Right, but we could help him out definitely as a game planner. Quarters is easy, right? This is what everybody dreams of. Okay, this is old school quarters. I don't know if this we didn't really see this type of world. We saw more like 7 brackets and stuff like that. If you are saying it, fire away, boys. Just fire away. I think like you see this. This is much easier for the quarterback, right? On an over route or stemming inside. That is now a much easier read than at UNC, where true double posting it, running right at him, and the vertical departure is much harder to see than just a horizontal turn. Obviously, great from tight, great from stacks. Just make sure you get the width back out. 2 ways you can corner post it, like here, or you can stem initially and then run the post off of it. I don't have a huge opinion. If somebody does, I'd love to hear it. Which is better, the initial stem post or the corner post? Ends up hitting the same spot 40 yards on that hash, college hash. Right, and now if we're doing it properly, they're calling a different play. They're calling like what I call Viper, right? We would have something back into that area if they were to all lift out. We're still now attacking that same area. So a couple of like cool tags off of it. The reason that this quote unquote Dallas play is alive in my mind is the plays off of it. Okay, it's good in the red zone, which I'll show you. It's good for stuff like this. We're getting true man. Like so, this is like double mesh, right? So we want our best player there. That's our one-on-one. This is a man-free play. 100% man-free check. If it's not man-free, we're killing it. We're getting to our second play call, whatever that is. They're looking back at you as a coordinator. However you want to operate, cool. Man-free play. Best player, one-on-one. Does he win the storm route, the score route? Cool, throw it. If not, these guys are my best other players, right? Because these guys in a perfect world are my pickers, right? I'm over the top of this shallow. So I want this shallow to come free. I want this over to come free. Okay, so this guy is over, right? So this could be your tight end. I have drawn up the tight end running back, which is perfect. Now these guys are my good receivers over here. The Packers flipped it, okay? I don't know if it's like a personnel issue, but they kind of have this over being targeted in man, which doesn't make sense if this is my first look, right? If I'm targeting this in my first look, I want that to be my second look and this to be my third look, right? So these are my pickers. These are the guys I'm trying to get open. That's my best player one-on-one against their weakest corner. So once again, they flipped the relationship here a little bit with the over routes. The mesh is good. Not from a technique standpoint, but at least the right guy is over the top of it. Now, I'm probably not going to want to throw in my running back as much. But you see the overs are, it's actually a really good mesh. I just want to flip it. I want the right guy to be on top. Okay, and the left guy to be on the bottom. But you see, we're just making three levels here, but also meshing it. Okay, so one-on-one, no. I would like a double move up top, no, and boom. So we see what we're trying to create here. Ends up working out. They bust it the other way, but I think it was a good idea. I was trying to optimize this thing a little bit and flip the whole idea. Great play in the red zone. So people run it a ton. I've never had success with it. I don't know how you read it, which side you read it. It's actually a pretty good relationship here of the double overs, right? So you can jet it, you can do all that kind of stuff. And now your two single receivers left are now on the over. Now who's over, who's under? In this world, I don't understand it. Who's the first look? Who's the second look? There's a cleaner way to run it in my mind. I'm about to show you. Right, but I think it's pretty cool. If anytime you get inside the red zone and you call it, right, you can call a different player, tag it. You want to like create a true landmark. Like, hey, the over route will be on the goal line, middle of the field. The under, quote unquote, over, whatever you want to call that, it's a terrible name, but the under over, right, will be right off his hip, right underneath it, going to the back pylon, right? So they're both going to the back pylon. You just give them a true landmark to run to. So it's a little bit easier to actually build up that mesh that we want. I like it more for this reason. Same thing. I want my best player here. It's a tag off of Dallas. I call it Dallas Z pivot. I call it Dallas, like we'll show you the front pylon route. Dallas, whatever, speed out. So that's my first look. If that's not there, same thing, great against man, kind of shoot against everything else. Then my second is the over coming right to it. Some good examples of this coming. So this is why I like this play, is for the tags off of it. They do a great job of covering the pivot. That's my best receiver. That's the matchup we wanted. They cover it. Great. Now they have to cover the secondary look, right, which is the over coming from the other side. Actually, a really nice mesh here. Quote unquote mesh up top. Same thing, goal line in the middle of the field. Both running to the back pylon. That's a great job, right? So I have something short and I have something back over the top of it. Kind of like the Miami play I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. Miami left, Miami right in the red zone where they're calling pivots. Same thing. Now we're truly picking for the over coming to its side. A little bit better against man, a little bit worse against zones. Same thing coming up from the Lions here. They're condensed to get the corner off. Does he win? He's going the front pylons, running the speed out. My best receiver, one-on-one. If it's there, we take it. Boom, plays over. If not, I'm coming to my backside over route, coming into the front side pylon. Now, really bad mesh here at the goal line, right? These guys to push more vertical. I want goal line. I want you to push more vertical. You can be late, right? Because I can hit you anywhere over here. You don't have to be on the actual back pylon, right? So push vertical and then snap flat and use 17 Patrick here as your pick guy. We are optimizing this versus man. Okay, so bad look there. Really good look at just a different option. Front side as my first look. One more here. This is a rollout. I'm not saying to do off rollout. Probably flip the formation. Okay, but this is a great route to put on it, right? The fade, front pylon. And now pretend like we have something over here. You're picking and you're running. Right, so now I have a legitimate second look if they do a good job of covering that. All right, so you can get as creative as you want with the front side look, the first look. Just know, right, we're building in progressions right back in the quarterback's eyes. All right, so you choose this play or the Miami play. I don't think there's a reason to carry both of them. Maybe you can tag the Miami play, right, with this guy on the over, possibly. That's actually a pretty good way to do it, only against man. And you kill it if not. Just a couple thoughts for you. So this is obviously my type of invention. Okay, we're in true 7-man protection. We're calling Philly right and then peak. Peak talks to the slot. So it's the flood pivot. I talked about this. I even asked people on YouTube, like, what can we do with him? You can run like a stick route and he breaks out. Whatever you want to do with number 2. Okay, so this is our base. Let me go back. This is our base play against zone. Okay, so we have a post. We have whatever number 2 is doing on Philly for you to create the high, low, and the hook curl and the flat. Okay, and we have our over. So any sort of zone, that's how the play looks. If it is true man, then the last part of peak, right? So it's pivot or leak. If it's any sort of man coverage, then this thing turns into a leak route. The Q will give them a signal, we're running leak, and off we go. And that's where the ball is going in man free. Okay, so it's a true blue man attacker. Once again, it is a better version of a double call because we're not changing anybody else. We're changing one guy, two guys, I guess, with the quarterback. And now we're optimizing this play to attack the zone or to attack man. Okay, because leak is a great man play. It's god awful against any sort of zone. Okay, but any sort of zone, we really like our Philly or a normal post over play, whatever you're doing. Right, so this is not how they're doing it. Okay, but these are good examples, right? So if this was any sort of zone, he'd be running whatever your normal post over route is for number two. Could be a shoot, could be I like the pivot. Right, now we have our over. Okay, now I'm 7-man protection. I can stay really strong in 7-man because I have my flat and hook curl created by one guy. Okay, so I can stay 7-man, I don't need him. We got our man indicator here. I'm telling the slot, whatever the code is, right? Leak, leak, leak. He's giving a signal. Now we're running the leak route. Okay, we're showing block, showing block, showing block, and then we're going to rail out the backside. All right, so we'd only see this play if it was man coverage. If it was anything else, any sort of zone, we're running Philly. We think that's good against everything or okay against everything. We can manage the play. Beautiful. Same thing here. They're running it off a keeper. I get it. Same idea. This is any sort of zone. He'd be running the flood pivot, right? He'd be touching the hash, then coming back out. We'd have our over, all that whole thing created like we talked about a million times. As soon as it becomes man, as soon as it looks like man, we get our man indicator. We can motion it. Coordinator calls it. QB calls it. Whatever. We're now going to leak who was our pivot runner. He's now running the leak route. Now they're all messed up in here. Sorry for the language. They're all messed up in there. But you see what we're trying to attack. Right, so just an idea. Me sitting here all day, I come up with these ideas. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're terrible. Raleigh, next one. I actually really, really, really like this tag. Okay, if you're a switch verts team, it plays right off that. Okay, so same thing. We're blowing off the top with our post. We're going to blow out whatever's in here. We are now railing to take out a flat defender. If the flat defender doesn't run with the rail, beautiful. We'll take our rail shot. Okay, so the post is not in it. We're going rail, right? Rail to over to whatever our check down options are on that play. We're assuming we're playing a well-coached defense. The flat defender, whoever it is running with the rail. Beautiful. Now I just drained out one more guy, and I have one human being left for the check down and over to beat. Right, so this is a great play against zone coverage. I like it against man in certain situations too. Okay, there's a couple different things you can do with the actual rail runner, which I'll show you. So here he's being lazy. Okay, but we see in cover 3, we're draining our flat. He's got to run with. Beautiful. We'd want number 1 to run the post to really get that guy out of there. Right, so who makes the tackle here should be drained out by the post. Right, so we should have post. We should be actually running and draining out that guy. And now we have one defender left to make wrong. Okay, we're doing that with whatever our check down is and our over. Underutilized play. I think it's freaking fantastic against most zones. Cover 4, you want to go double overs, of course. But that's why we're calling city left. We're getting the best possible call. Love it to the tight end. Love it to the tight end, okay? Especially if you want to fake block. You can fake outside zone. You can stutter, run the rail, blowing the top off of the post. Now they're running more of a dig, but just imagine more of the over here. Okay, we could fake jet, right? Trying to get them down. We're trying to hit the rail on this one, especially to the tight end. Okay, so easy, quick tight end targets here. They're running more of like an out and up type thing. Don't like it as much, but we're draining the coverage and we hit what is the dig, okay? But for me, it would be an over coming from a normal split right into that same area. I'll show you a better way of running it with the tight end I like more. More of like a stock block and then go. I love this one especially. Okay, so they lose the over protection, which is fine. This is a good nub play. You can max protect it. We have right now 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. Hopefully we drain him out too. 5 defenders completely useless on this play. Right, and now we've got high-low, whoever that flat defender is. He doesn't run with it. Beautiful. We're hitting the rail. So if you're not a good protection team, you're playing werewolves up front, this is a great one. I can kill the over, meaning I don't even need the over on this one. Okay, the over is kind of a bonus. I'm really looking to hit the rail flat on this type of component here. All right, so really good. All right, we can motion to, we can do all sorts of things. but we're draining all these people out, right? These guys are all useless. Okay, we're just playing the game off that guy. If we get the over built off, cool. That's the bonus. So why I kind of changed this to more of a hook curl type target was for this play, was for Raleigh, right? Because I want to keep that space available. If you ran it more of like a flat over type route, you'd be into that same space as whoever the rail is. But by keeping him more vertical and then flatter, almost like a shitty dig, you now keep that space for more valuable things like the rails in my mind, right? So now we can hit this almost like four verts, okay? We'll have something, splashing out 20 to 25 yards here, something splashing at 20 to 25 yards down here, and hopefully blowing the top off the whole thing. I do not recommend faking a chip block, or actually chipping and then running the rail. I like the rail just to happen initially. That to me is probably covered, right? Especially if you're a little bit faster out. Not so good from like a inline tight end situation, unless you're FIB. But right, we're trying to clear him out. That to me is a no. And then we have coming right into that area. Okay, the over route. You want that guy to run a post to keep this area for the rail. This is more like, right, we lose the over here because this guy was a monster. I don't know how he's doing in the NFL, but he was a freaking monster at Florida State. We just stay solid in protection here. So we lose the over, but this is the technique I want the tight end to use on Raleigh to him, right? We're blowing the top off at the post. We'll drain him. He's going to fake the stalk to about the top of the numbers for about 3 to 4 yards, and then he's going to run the rail down the sidelines. Top of the numbers in college, beautiful. He gets that 2-3 yard mark. Is it a 2 Mississippi? I don't know. Whatever that timing of those is perfect. And then we're hitting the rail. If we didn't have to stay super solid in protection, we can see what area we're going to open up. We'd then be attacking that area right behind it, right? So they cover it somehow. Then we end up with something else right into that voided area. Right, but that right there is a perfect technique from a tight end on Raleigh. Sorry. I'm in slow motion now. I'll skip ahead. But good technique here. Let's see if you can see it from here. Nah. It is a good sprint out play here as well, right? So blow the top off post. They're running an out and up. You can do either or. Out and up probably helps you a little bit better to actually hit the rail route, right? Because you can kind of get lost and then pop back out free. The rail route actually drains the underneath defenders better. So either or it works. Right, so a really good, nice, like I talked about dash protection. I think it's a cheat code, underutilized. Excuse me. Underutilized play. Protection, right? Offensive lineman can smoke a cigarette. We're getting outside of it. Now we're running, our floods, our rails, sort of stuff like that. But a good look. Right, for those worried that the rail gets in the way, I think the rail is way out ahead of it, both horizontally and vertically. If it's run properly, all is well. You have really nice spacing, and the quarterback can just basically look out here. Right, the more I can keep the quarterback's eyes on the outside and not have to look anywhere inside the hashes, probably the better. Right, so a really nice, second and long, third and long, we can't block them type play is run Raleigh off dash protection. So not what they're doing. I think this play, I don't know what they call it. Very popular in the NFL world, right? They run like a shitty glance and go. Just run the post, drain them out faster. You can sell choice, or you can stock block, and then he runs the rail. And then behind it, right, we have the over. So same thing, created. That is not what they're doing, okay? They're running the glance, the first look, which never made sense to me. They're running the rail as the second look. This guy's blowing the top off. I'm saying sell choice for your choice team. Sell choice, and then pop off the rail, right? They're going to sell a choice. They're jump the choice, and boom, we have the rail over the top. If they cover it really well, we have our same over route. We've talked about it a million times. Right, so just different things. Things that people aren't doing, I think, are good plays. You can stock block them like this, right? Or you can fake the choice, and you're going to hit the same area. Either or, depending on who that guy is and what you're doing. Oh, man, I thought I had one more. Yes. So same thing, right? If you're a bubble team, this could be trips, this could be motion. Same exact play. Post, show the rail, right? So that's what I'm saying. There's a couple different things we can do to get the rail in the same spot. Post, rail, no, and they're on the dig. Okay, the dig is completely useless on this play, right? The ball never goes there. Bring him on the freaking over. Like, there's a 10% chance we'll hit him. It's not great, but it's better than having nothing here as a dig, right? So like, let's bring this guy on the over route and attack that voided space right here. Don't have him run the glance go. Have him run the post. Now let's optimize this play instead of just wasting this backside component that never ever gets thrown. Let's bring everybody frontside. Right, so get really cheap, easy. I think this is probably a great play in high school. Right, however you motion it, trips, formation it, whatever you want to do. Rail to over. Rail to over to check downs if you have time. All right, and then the last one I want to talk about, right, is kind of combining two worlds. So we had storms, very successful for us. The issue with storm was if that first throw wasn't there, if the slot didn't get open, there really was no check down. So same thing I've been talking about a million freaking times. Let's bring something right in front of the quarterback. This is now my best player. I love it against man free, unless they get like kick way outside leverage with like one rat or whatever, one hole, whatever you want to call it. Don't like it there. But if we're getting even leverage, or especially inside leverage, love it. Okay? And obviously love it against old school quarters. Nickel inside, whoever that is inside. I have a 10-yard head start against this poor safety with any sort of double move I want, vertical, post, whatever. Okay, you can take the post off from the slot if you wanted to. Same thing. So this guy, a couple different options with number one we talked about. Right, you can run a stop route, comeback, whatever. Just something down here. I like the flood pivot idea because same thing. Now I'm building in. Right, he's the low portion in the hook for this route, and now he's a low portion when he breaks out in the flat for that route if we end up getting there. All right, so use a little bit of imagination with me on this one because it's not what anybody else has done. Once again, not what we did. I just think it's the best of both worlds. You can kind of see it here. Right now, they're running the predetermined cop here. Right, corner post. That guy plays so soft, you're not gonna ever gonna catch him. That's fine. We just blew out the top. Now we have all this room for the over route. And you can kind of do whatever you want with number one. He's kind of running like a lazy rail, stops 5 and 8 yards, whatever. Just something out there. Obviously, don't like the check down distribution here. He stops, but he pulls this guy in, so works out for him nicely. Right, however the check down distribution is for you to get that area accounted for. So same thing, imagine this thing up to the top. This is the look we want. He can run a couple different things. The issue with the flood pivot, right, is if they drop it in quarters, they can double team it. Right, so something you got to game plan is what can we do with number one to keep the corner on him? Right, is it like big wide splits between them? What is it that we can keep the corner down to provide this one-on-one aspect for us? Man, free, it won't matter. Okay, more of a zone thing. Okay, so here we're running a comeback. That was just our base rule with a slot storm. So we'd be triggering that if our eyes were there. If they somehow cover the piss out of it, then we'd be having an over and then maybe the back out underneath it all. Right, this guy would be running a hitch. Or whatever your base rule is on a flood. Okay, but we can see there's so much. I'm watching these plays and there's so much space as the defense lifts to attack that same area I talked about in my last video. Same thing here, KY off. So this is why I actually kind of like doing something different with him. Right, so this protection, whatever they call it in the world. Okay, guard pull stuff. If you are playing just a freakazoid DN, like these guys are better than our tight ends, right? So we couldn't full slide it. Perfect. Let's pull the guard here, pulling the center based off front. But now I can stay super solid 7-man in. We can storm it. Whatever you can do with number one, I think we're running a stop or maybe a return route. And now my over is coming into that area. The issue is now you don't have anything in the hook curl short. Okay, so either you have to leak something out late from the running back position or he has to somehow serve as that area. Okay, but this is my favorite protection against stagnant 4-man fronts where these guys are monsters. Okay, because now we're getting 2 guys on. I got a little sidetracked. 2 guys on that guy, and everything else should be pretty solid. Right, so just imagine the over route coming right behind that area, which is a hellacious catch by Josh Downs. Freakazoid player. Right, so you see a lot of old school quarters. This is probably the first thing I'm dialing up. Double post this, depending on what my slot. Put my best player at slot. He has a one-on-one with that safety. I like my chances. Bring the over right back to it. Right, so common play ends up playing out like very similar here. I actually want to study this protection a little bit more into the 5-man stuff as I go. But right, he plays hard inside leverage. You can give him a double move. It ends up just being a 2-fade, basically. 2-fade to your best player with the over coming right behind it. We'd be building up a much more depth, be a little bit slower. Remains the same. Same thing in cover 3, right? You got a game plan. Will they drop a flood pivot? My guy goes in automatically. Will they drop it? Does he have to run a 3-step slant and then come back out? Like, how do I hold this guy down while still providing the hook curl relief I need there? Right. So that I'm very open to suggestions here. It's just an initial thought. All right, the final one. I actually had this as a different play call. I call like Kansas left and Kansas right. So I'm playing it off Oxford, which I call it Oxford because we came up with the storm stuff at Ole Miss. Right. So this is a play off of it, and this is like a Travis Kelce play. So this is a great one if you are a flood team, okay, which I will be, right? We're running overs. We're running shallows. Okay, so this is a very common over shallow to whatever this now front side of the play is. So let's play off of that. Let's fake the over. This is only against man free in my world. Okay, we are going to fake the over to whatever that depth is. I don't even know what that depth is. Okay, and now we're going to run a rail route. They run more like a corner. I want to look at it as a rail. Right, I'm optimizing this play against man. Look over your inside shoulder. It's easier throw, easier catch, more explosive. Same thing. Show the shallow, right? We want to bite on what we're showing a million times on film and then break back out. So easy for the quarterback, right? Same thing. 1, 2. I'm sorry. 1, and then probably the over to your check down is 2, right? However you get your distribution done there, right? But I'm definitely going for this as my first look. Once again, it's a man-only play. The Bills had a really nice one this year. They did off like backside curls. Same thing, right? You can tag it however you want to. But this looks like over shallow going to the left, like I'm going to run a million times throughout the course of the year. And ends up we're just now breaking back out away from it. Right? They're running like a corner. I say look over your inside shoulder here. Get width, get depth. Look over your inside shoulder, be more explosive. Last look here. You know what? You could, if you want to run it and call it and run it, not my favorite thing, but you could just play it like smash at that point with the over and then whatever coming back to it. Okay, so they're doing something different. I want my running back, obviously, right here. So now we're creating our 3 pieces, creating our 4 pieces in this scenario. There's something there, something there, something there, something there. We win. All right, so just some ideas, some stuff that I haven't seen that I think is good. Right, this is me just driving a forklift all day. Some stuff that is out there. Maybe you're able to take a thing or two from this. I hope so. And I will. We have one more flood video coming out, which is true like sail, and then we'll move on to half field coverages or half field beaters. I'm sorry.